Hello folks, 104 checking in for 104's Unplugged, and at last I've managed to find the time to actually do that Q&A video that I promised you quite some while back. So I didn't get many views on that video, didn't actually get many questions off of that video, but I've stored up quite a few, and some of them might be of use to some of you people that like doing the old car camping, etc. Anyway, catch you in a bit. Okay, so here we go. Without further ado, let's just grab my extensively prepared notes and we'll get straight into it, shall we? So, yeah, let's try and find the actual questions. That's a good start, and I lost the bloody lot. There we are. Q&A session. Right, first up, electrics. Okay, stuff to do with electrics. Now, someone asked how many amps does my microwave, my little 700 watt microwave, draw, and pretty much 5 amps. It's hard to be exact because the supply voltage can vary and things like that. But 700 watt microwave, it's listed in the instructions as 1200 watts out of the wall, so to speak. Don't forget, when it says 700 watt microwave, 800 watt microwave, etc., that's your microwave zapping power, and that's that RF that does the business to warm up your food. So don't go by that and work it out. Go by what actually is stated in the instructions. But I did find they were a little bit light on consumption. Mine was a little bit higher when I measured it. So allow 5 amps. So you've got to watch it because some sites, their hookup, electric hookup is only 6 amps. Some are 10, some are 16, and some are 20. So you've only got to add a few different devices, your heater, your travel kettle, your microwave, and you could blow the supply. But work on 5 amps for a little basic 700 watt microwave. Okay, next up. Someone asked me, do I have some sort of split charge system in the Berlingo? No. The Berlingo is pretty much a workhorse for the family. So it is totally modular. At the moment, it's full up with stuff to go down the tip in the charity shop. Other times, I put the seats back in and it's a passenger vehicle. Other times, it is my little car camper. So I haven't got a split charge as such. The only thing I could say that is sort of split charge is my power banks. I do have the cigarette lighter plug adapter lead, so I can charge it from the cigarette lighter as I'm traveling. So it's a sort of split charge. So if I've got a flat or a not fully charged power bank, I can charge it as I'm going to the site. I can recharge the flat one on the way home, or indeed, when you've got a vehicle, you have actually got a petrol or diesel generator. Run the engine for a bit, put some juice back into your power bank. So yeah, obviously don't charge your power bank without running your engine because they do suck a fair bit of power, so it would flatten your car battery quite quickly. But everything I do when I go car camping is totally independent of the vehicle electrics, because I'm always fearful that at the end of the camp I'm going to have a flat battery. So no reliance, no dependency on the vehicle electrics, purely from power banks, or indeed, if I treat myself, to the electric hookup. Okay, what's next? Someone did ask me about power banks, actually. Generally, I've been underwhelmed with the power banks that I've bought. Probably, they're quite clever in the way they word the maths on the capacities, etc. But when you actually look at it, they've got an X amount of capacity on the battery, but that's not the true capacity of the battery, because the battery's not allowed to go what they call to absolute discharge, i.e. completely flat. So take 20% off of that and things like that. There's calculations out there that will give you a more realistic sort of runtime for these power banks, and it's less than you might think. So yeah, be careful. And if you want a quick rule of thumb, whatever you think you're going to need, double it. So I have been underwhelmed. The All Powers power bank I've got works all right in sort of room temperatures, but when I've been out in any sort of lowish temperature just switches itself off at about 35–40%. So that's disappointing. The Bluetti, well, we went down camping down at Durldor in a shepherd's hut. Mrs. charged her ear pod things in it a couple of times, and wirelessly charged her phone about twice, and that was gone. So there we go. Probably the best one I've got is the cheaper Hopwind one, but that does use the somewhat inferior battery technology called LiPo, I think it is. Not so stable as far as safety is concerned, and not a battery that can accept as many charges as I think they call it the LiPo 4's. But it does seem to last a lot longer than the other ones, even though the rated capacity of the battery is the same. So there we go. Yeah, probably if I was going to have my time again, I'd look at someone said a Vitaman one, look at the Vitaman ones, because you can plug in an extra battery pack into those. And I do see some people saying the EcoFlow Delta 2 is good, and I think that one too, you can add the extra battery pack. I've not tried those myself, so I can't vouch to say that they are good power banks or not. So yeah, power banks. Anyway, yeah, not that pleased, and they're not cheap. Anyway, let's go on to the setup side of things. I'm going to rip through these so I don't bore you. Someone did say that my setup was like torture, actually staying in that small vehicle, and the setup was a pain in the ass and all the rest of it. To be honest, I don't go for the car camping experience. I go to create a base camp, and then I go out walking and hiking and exploring from that base camp. So that's the reason. But I find it quite comfortable. And if I'm not videoing stuff and I've simplified things, really now I can roll up to the campsite, 30 minutes, I'm completely set up and I'm in there. And there we go. So yeah, it's not for everyone. Some people obviously would prefer to stay in a hotel room, etc. But I just love being able to car camp on a campsite, not stealth camp. That's not my thing. And strike out with the vehicle and use it as a base camp. So each your own on that one. Again, on the same sort of subject, someone said, after seeing the sort of palaver that you go through to set up, I'm going to go for a roof tent. It's so easy. Maybe if there was two of us, I would go for a roof tent. Me being solo, I like having everything self-contained within my space within the vehicle. And the reason for that is bad weather. Because if you've got a roof tent, to my mind, you're creating an upstairs bedroom. So you spent the evening doing what you want in the vehicle, cooking, all the rest of it. You've got your portaloo, you've got everything in there. I think, right, time for bed. And you think, right, what am I going to need up there? I'll take my tablet for a bit of entertainment. I'll take the pea pot, take a snack. Out in the terrible weather outside, and I do like my winter camping, and I've been through a few nasty storms as well. Up a soaking wet or ice covered ladder into the roof tent, get set up, and you think, it's all right. Put your tablet on, battery's flat. You think, oh no, the power bank's down the bottom and I'm up here. I know you can get posh roof tents with USBs up there and all the rest of it, but it's just the whole thing about having to go out in the bad weather and back in again. So me being solo, I just stick inside the vehicle. So I got the portaloo, got everything right there. So roof tent on that level, not for me. On another level, they're expensive. On another level, it's quite a bulky item to have on top of your vehicle. And indeed, if I did go for one, so if there was two of us, me and my missus would go in, I would go for a roof tent possibly. I would like these sort of hard clamshell, or the ones that go straight up, the hard shell ones. There's a good chance with a high-ish vehicle, like the Berlingo is, good chance I hit an overhanging branch or something and crack the shell or something like that. So that'd be a bad scene for an expensive bit of kit. So roof tent, not for me. Might be for you, but it's not for me. Someone said gazebo. I put the gazebo up in a couple of videos, and they said, quite where are you going to put them up? They're banned on most sites. That's not been my experience, to be honest. What I would suggest is look at the site terms and conditions before you go. And if it says no gazebos, or when you get to reception, ask if you're not sure. If they say you're not allowed to put gazebo up, don't put it up. It's not a deal breaker. And indeed, I take it with me. It's always with me, but I don't always put it up, especially in the winter when it's going to get windy. Irrespective of that, if the weather's looking ropey, I don't put it up or I'll take it down. Thirdly, some sites, they say, yeah, fine. Other sites, they say, well, the one we went to a couple of weeks ago, I looked in their terms and conditions. They said when the weather's bad, the warden or whoever it is walks around, they'll ask you to take your gazebo down. Coastal sites, I think probably some do ban them. This was a coastal site. They say, well, as we're walking around, we'll say, can you take that down because bad weather. But yeah, I would say generally, when you book, when you look to go to a campsite, look at their terms and conditions. They've all got them there. There's the park rules there for Durdle Door. And now, the reason I don't car camp at Durdle Door is because you're not allowed to. So yeah, to have a vehicle on their campsite, it's got to be proper sort of fitted out vehicle with fixed cabinets, etc. Says that in the rules, so that's the rule. So I abide by them. In addition, some sites say no sign written vans. Some say no vans at all, unless they've got windows in the back and things like that. So just research first, and you will avoid problems when you actually get to the site. So there we go. Anyway, somebody said, why don't you fit the Berlingo out with fixed cabinets and stuff? Well, like I said before, it's a working vehicle at the rest of the time. It is a modular, it's a pop-up camper van, so to speak. In addition to that, there's some fairly nice camper things, like a modular thing you can put in the back of a Berlingo and other vehicles, no doubt. They're on eBay, and you can unfold it and it turns into quite a nice bed and dining table. Look really good, not that expensive. But that Berlingo is now, I think, 17 years old. I don't get too attached to vehicles. When their time is up, their time is up. I don't call my vehicles names like, I don't know, Flumpy the Berlingo. Oh, lovely, cuddly, Flumpy Berlingo. No, when they start to get problematic, I generally weigh them in for scrap. That's where the Doblo went. That's where the CRV went. That's where the RAV4 went. They got scrapped because they were rusty. Their time was up, engine problems. So I guarantee that if I bought one of these conversion things, I'd go out and say, oh, this is all right, isn't it? On the way back, or not, maybe even before I tried out the first camp, probably the gearbox would go or the engine would blow up, and I'd end up having to try and sell it off separately and all that type of malarkey. So no, purely modular does the job for me. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Someone else said you're no youngster, which is absolutely true. Would you like a bigger vehicle? And which sort of leads on to the question, what would be my ideal vehicle? And yeah, it would be nice to have a little bit more space. I'd like to take the missus along sometimes as well. But I don't want anything wide, because a lot of the campsites are up narrow lanes, very narrow lanes. And it always seems to be me that does the reversing. The person the other way always seems to be somebody who's gone into the countryside and they can't reverse. So yeah, I've reversed up to about half a mile at times. But yeah, I would like a four-wheel drive, certainly nothing big. Probably a Mitsubishi Delica, something like that, which is basically a Mitsubishi Shogun with a van body on it, four-wheel drive. Because, all right, it might not be plugging through mud or something, but I like having all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, because there's always a chance that when you are doing these lanes, you could put a wheel off of the road down into a gully, and they keep resurfacing the road, so the road level gets higher, and you've got quite a drop off. And with a two-wheel drive vehicle that hasn't got traction control, you've only got to drop one wheel and it starts spinning and you're stuck. So I would like to have four-wheel drive back again. But it does raise the question, do I want to carry on with this type of thing? Now, the Berlingo is only a 1.6 litre petrol. It's exempt from the low emission zone in Bristol, so it can't be classed as a dirty vehicle. But my road tax now, vehicle excise duty, is just shy of £400 for that. which I think is a bit much. I think that's a lot too much, to be honest. I think it's pretty daylight robbery, seeing the potholes and the roads, the standard of the roads, certainly in this area. So I got to decide whether we've got the little Suzuki Auto, which has now gone up to £20 a year tax from zero. Got that as a shopping car. Mrs. used that. That's what we go down to the Harbourside, the sort of doctory place we go to. And there's never anywhere to park, and the little vehicle is perfect for that. So I want to keep that, but I'd like to get something as the family car, but something that is a lot cheaper to run, maybe, as far as tax is concerned and things like that. Berlingo does about 30 to the 27, 30 mpg to the miles per gallon. So yeah, I've got to think. Shall I do more tent camping? We're going to have a go at tent camping, me and Mrs. in the not too distant future. If that goes well, perhaps I'll consider one of these bell tents, these wigwammy things, a hot tent with a nice stove, and do more of the type of thing that we go to the shepherd's huts, we go to the camping pods and things like that. So perhaps that's the way to go, not do the car camping as such. But yeah, I have to give some thought to that, give some serious thought to that. Especially if the vehicle broke down or there's a serious repair needs doing, I would have to consider whether that would be the way to go. So hopefully that answered your question there. Too much stuff. Yeah, one of the reasons I got a lot of stuff is my inspiration comes from Korean and Japanese car camping videos, and they do like their little gadgets and things like that, which I like it as well. But it happens to be that we've got far too much stuff as a family, and some of the stuff I just take with me to put it to some use and get it out of the house or the storage unit. So yeah, I have been thinning down though. So you might see in the next car camp I do that I've made some significant changes to primarily the bedding, things like that. So yeah, with this type of thing, it's very difficult to strike a balance between taking too much stuff and not enough. Sometimes you think, oh, I won't bother taking 2 electric pumps. I'll just take the one, and then that one burns out, and you think, oh, I haven't got a spare. So things like that is very difficult. And I've been doing this now I've probably done about 100 nights away in the Berlingo. I don't video every trip I do, but yeah, it's often very difficult to strike a balance on what to take and what not to take. But I'm learning all the time. It's constantly evolving. Anyway, ripping through these. One thing I would say though, that microwave has been bloody brilliant for when I've got electric hookup. And going back to electrics, if I was doing something like this a little bit more seriously, I would get a pretty big, plowing money into a pretty big power bank or some sort of leisure battery setup, so I could run a microwave in the vehicle, even off grid. Bloody brilliant, that microwave. Wow, it's great. Anyway, let's go on to some sort of, I suppose, sort of personal questions. Now, somebody did ask me on the campsite once. It was after a hunker down session that everyone had to do with a named storm. So I was in there for at least 24 hours without coming out of the vehicle at all. And the following day, excuse me, after the storm had calmed down, the couple next to me, they were actually, I had a bit of a chat with them prior to the storm. They came over and said, "You all right?" They showed genuine concern on their faces, which I thought, wow. So you're right, and they're all on your own. I think I'd been there for about 5 days. I extended the stay to go back after the storm had died off. So I was there for probably about I was there for 7, 8, 9 days. I can't remember. And they said, "Don't you get lonely in there all by yourself?" And I said, "No, not in the slightest." And the reason for that was I've got entertainment in there. It's electric. Yeah, I think I had the electric. I'm not too sure. But I had the tablet computer, and I was watching, I think, Rugby World Cup was on at the time, something like that. So there's that, and it is fairly obvious that I am somewhat neurodivergent. I'm not going to go and get diagnosed with anything, but it's certainly the way that my mind works is probably dissimilar to most people, in as much that I'm thinking all the time. All the time I'm thinking. I'm talking to myself all the time. I'm thinking all the time, and I just never ever seem to get bored or lonely. Having said that, I'm not a full-time van lifer, as you can see, and I've got a missus, I've got a elderly father we look after as well, so I've got family to come back to. If I was a full-time van lifer on the road solo all the time, it might be a different matter as far as the old boredom and loneliness is concerned by doing all these things solo. But as it stands, I do not get lonely, even when I've not spoken to people for days. So that's just me. Anyway, someone else said, why don't you get a dog for company? This is, I know there's loads of dog lovers out there, but I think you can excuse me that it's not my favourite animal. A dog is not my favourite, and I'll tell you why. And that's because as a very young kid, I was very badly bitten by a dog. I could still make out the scars sometimes in the right light, and I would have been about 4 at the time, really seriously bitten. I was attacked on another further 2 occasions as a kid as well by dogs. Okay, so I'm not scared of them anymore, but I am wary of them, especially when you get some that are straining on their some of the campsites. They put like a peg thing in the ground and the dog is attached to that and it's straining at the lead going rah, 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 bloody big thing too. Then you walk past and rah, rah. I know probably 99.9% of owners are pretty good and the rest of it, but and I'm walking around a couple of weeks ago down on the south coast, bags of dog shite hung up. Quite a few times when I was walking the Brecon Beacons, there's signs there that says keep your dog on a lead, and I was almost at the summit of one mountain. Up comes this big dog bounding up, and I thought, oh, this one looks lost. A couple of minutes later, 2 blokes come up off the lead. It was bouncing around. They didn't know there wasn't sheep up the top of that mountain. That dog, there's a video of something happening in Gloucester now. They may not bite or attack the sheep, but it could scare it and the thing falls off the side of the mountain. Really irresponsible, I have to say. No, I think you can excuse me after the attack. Now I say with all these, some people have got big cats, these hissing cats, and what they are, but cats and dogs, they might say, well, yeah, they won't bite you. They're more likely to lick you to death than they are bite you and all this type of stuff. Until you accidentally step on their tail or accidentally step on their foot. And yeah, even round here, a few weeks ago, a 19-year-old girl got mauled to death by a dog, and there's been another one since. So I think you can excuse me when I say I won't be getting a dog as a pet to take with me camping, but I would have a little cat, especially if I could get a kitten and train it on the lead. Cats, you can train them to go on a lead if you catch them young. I'd love a little cat. I got a picture of the cat we had for 16.5 years just up there. I'm totally cat people, to be honest. I know cats aren't everyone's cup of tea, but she was with us 16.5 years. She was nearly 20 when she passed away, and I would go for a cat. It'd be great to be hunkered down in there, a little warm, curled up cat. Perhaps a bigger vehicle so I could have the litter tray inside the vehicle. But yeah, there we go. So that's the answer to that one. So yeah, that's pretty much where it's at. I did say in the intro video, or the invite video to this Q&A, I did say let's get one out now, because I think there was some rumblings out there and probably people think the same. When you see people on YouTube, you're only getting a snapshot of their lives and their environment and all the rest of it, and it probably looks like I get away a lot, and people sort of think, well, how's he fund all that? I explained it in the video, but just to reiterate, I don't claim any benefits at all. I'm not on any benefits, neither are any of the immediate family. So let's put that one to bed, guys. It's a lifestyle that I've managed to create through hard work, 40 years hard work, and living a somewhat alternative and rather frugal lifestyle. So that's all I'm going to say on that one. Anyway, so that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed that little Q&A session. If you've got any more questions, leave them in the comments below or on any of my videos. it's a micro channel, so I'll pick those comments up, no doubt. I would say it does look like that I do have some fairly, at least one quite big channel following me, because not under their sort of big channel name, but I do see some things that I do appear in their videos not long afterwards. Absolutely fine. I'm here to spread the word. I'm here to to give out knowledge and experience and all the rest of it. But it would be nice, especially considering that it is very difficult on YouTube these days with the algorithm. If the foundation of the very small micro channels crumbles, who knows what's going to happen to the rest of the YouTube structure, if you want to put it like that. So if you're a bigger channel, or any channel really, and you've picked up an idea from a small micro channel or any channel, just give them a quick nod, give them a shout out and say, I've got this idea from this channel. It will help the whole YouTube ecosystem. There's plenty for everyone, and it's always a little bit disappointing. You see it in all types of YouTube video genres, so to speak, where a small channel has discovered some new something or other, and then all the big channels suddenly crowd it, and the little channel really just doesn't get any benefit from their findings, experience, or knowledge. So there we go. So bigger channels, just give it a thought. Just give a little shout out to the little micro channels once in a while. Anyway, that's it. 104 checking out once again. Hopefully back out again in May and June, and then probably not out very much then over the peak season. So I'll catch you again soon. Cheers, everyone.